So happy to have our friend Pablo Del Real here to share with us today. And Pablo and I just met each other, I don't know, what, a couple month or two ago, courtesy of Roshi Paco and in Florida, and that was wonderful. And so Pablo's going to talk about mindfulness clubs today, teaching teens how to supervise their attention, which we can all use some help supervising our attention. Our attention tends to go in all kinds of different directions. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself. Thank Pablo for joining us. Thank you all for joining us. And I'm going to pass over the microphone and the talking stick to my friend Pablo. Thank you so much for being here.
All right. Thank you, dear Jeff. Thank you, Zen Peacemakers International. We appreciate the chance to work with you, speak with you, be with you through this video conference today for mindfulness with teens. It's one of our specialties, mindfulness clubs with Soil and Soul. And I'm going to invite our group to introduce themselves just very briefly, starting with our students, if they don't mind, just saying their name, their age, their school, and their grade, if they're still in school.
I'm Ryan Monestein. I'm a senior at Atlantic Community High School, and I'm 17.
Hi, my name's Maya. I'm a sophomore at the University of Florida, and I am 19.
I'm Kiara. I'm 23. I graduated from University of Florida. I'm taking some gap years right now.
I'm Bianca. I go to Dreyfus School of the Arts. I'm a senior and I'm 17.
Hello, I'm Stepsy Pierre. I'm a sophomore at Boynton Beach Community High School, and I'm 15 years old, sorry.
I think that's all of our students. So staff, Soil and Soul staff and board, you want to introduce yourselves briefly?
Hello, everybody. My name is Ornella Plauti, and I am co-executive director with Pablo at Soil and Soul.
We have a board member with us here today.
Yeah, my name is Paco. I'm a board member both of Peacemaker International and Soil and Soul. I live here in Delray Beach, Florida. I've been here 1 year, moved in from New York.
Thanks for those intros. Today we want to demonstrate a mindfulness club as developed through Soil and Soul, and all of our students and young people here have been members of a mindfulness club, some still are. And so we're going to just do a demonstration of that. It's going to be abbreviated. It'll be about 20, 25 minutes, maybe. Normally our clubs are anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes, and they tend to happen on school campuses, although they can happen off campus as well. And I'm going to invite Ornella and our club graduates and club members to remind me if I forget anything. Please jump in and get me back on track if I get off track. So I'm going to invite one sound of the bell just to kind of switch gears and wake us up to this mindfulness club's demonstration. So today is Monday, December 23rd. It's a little afternoon Eastern time in South Florida, where many of us are. And I know we're spread out and we are united across time zones. Today's demonstration of the Mindfulness Club from Soil and Soul, yes, is going to be a little different because it's online. And I saw Bianca's comment. I think Zoom tends to mute bells, as I recall, and it looks like it's still doing that. So noted, and we won't be using the bell too much today. So To begin, we like to talk about our Mindfulness Club's 4 segments. 1 is grounding, which we'll do in a moment. 2 is movement, mindfulness of movement. 3 is stillness. And 4 is what we call heart talk. That's a kind of structured dialogue. And we find with these 4 activities, we can touch on body, mind, spirit, and existence. So I'm going to invite a grounding statement for today, just to get us started with the energy of mindfulness. That's the purpose of our gathering, our Mindfulness Club in general, and this demonstration. So our grounding statement for today can be breathing in winter solstice, breathing out new solar year. Winter solstice, new solar year. So right around this time in our club meeting, we will pass around a basket that looks like this. And we will invite students to turn off their phones and to put them in the basket. So if you want to do that virtually, if you haven't already, I know some of you may be on your phone for this meeting, but silencing the phone and letting go of it in a physical way can help us learn how to release some things that we might be attached to in our consciousness. So giving everybody a chance to let go of their phones. We have 4 agreements that we like to activate for each Mindfulness Club meeting. Agreement number 1 is loving speech. Loving speech is speech that's helpful for self and for the group, rooted in I statements. I noticed, I felt. Agreement number 2 is deep listening. That's listening to understand, not to judge, and not to be reactive. Agreement number 3, no fixing. So we're not giving advice unless somebody is asking for advice. And 4 is confidentiality. We're keeping private information private. Now, when we work in schools, one on a footnote, we are mandated reporters. So if we hear expressions of harm, self-harm, abuse, neglect, those are things that we have to report. So that's the one exception that we make to confidentiality. But otherwise, teens, students, young people are free to speak their minds and know that we will keep that information private. Any questions about the agreements? All right. So moving to mindfulness of movement. Now, typically in a circle that's well developed, in a club meeting, we'll have different people facilitate each segment. The grounding will be done by a grounder, the movement by a mover, and so on. Today, just for sake of time and brevity, we're going to stick with one facilitator, and I'll facilitate all 4 sections. So moving on to movement, I invite us to stand up if that's comfortable and available for us. The purpose of movement in our clubs is really to unite mind-body connection. And we call this breath-centered movement as well. And there's no special training or abilities needed. So these are just invitations to movements. I'll get us started, and then I'll ask our students to also guide a movement. That's what we call each one lead one. So getting started, in sync with the breath, I invite us to breathe our hands up overhead. And then breathing out, bringing our hands down towards the center of our bodies. And a couple more, just in sync with the breath at our own pace. One more. So with that, I'll pass it to our students to
I'd like to invite us to just, sorry, my camera like zooms in on me for some reason, but just like sway your arms back and forth and like allow them to hit the sides of your body and just like really let loose. Try to sync up your movements with your breath. All right, that's it from me.
So I invite everyone to sit down really quickly, or yeah, to take a seat or anything like that. So what I want us to do is like a seated stretch. So if you're like on the ground, I guess you'd put one hand behind you, or you'd put one hand on like the back of your seat, and then you'd put, say, your other hand on. I would just use left and right. You use your right hand, put it on the back of your seat, and your left hand will go to your right knee, and you'll just stretch that way. You'll move. You'll look over to your back. You look over your back, and you try to hold that for about one breath. And let's just do 3 of these. So, and you turn and you do the reverse, to maintain that equality. You're just alternating hands positions. All right. And when you're done, that's it for me.
Hello. I would like to invite everyone to first pay attention to your breath. Deep in and out. And when you're ready, if you feel comfortable, I invite everybody to take 2 of your fingers and just tap lightly on your chest. Breathing in, breathing out. Notice how you might feel tense, you might feel hollow. And feel free to tap wherever you want with those 2 fingers. It can be on your forehead, it can be on your nose. Remember to pay attention to your breath. And when you feel all ready, you can stop.
Hello. We can do some neck rotations. When your nose is up to the sky, breathe in, and when your nose is to the ground, breathe out. We'll do that for 3 rounds of breath. When you're done, you could switch sides. That's it for me.
And hey everyone, I'm gonna go next. I invite you guys to do, if you're sitting down, to do some shoulder rolls. So we're gonna start by moving your shoulders back. Invite you to go up, in as you breathe out, going down, breathing in, breathing out, going at a pace that's comfortable for you. And we can do this for 2 more breaths. So you should feel that stretch in your body. And then when you're ready, you can switch going forward. Again, making sure to keep up with the breath. We can do this for 2 more. And when you're ready, you can stop.
Wonderful. Thanks for those movements. So when we conclude a round in the circle, we invite what we call freestyle. So any other movement that we feel like our body is calling for, this is a chance to do that on our own, in sync with the breath, for maybe 10 or 15 rounds of breath. Any movement that your body would like, sitting, standing, whatever you need, for about 15 breaths. Finishing up that freestyle movement in another breath or two. At the end of movement, we like to invite reflections, just on the movement itself. We do that using those 4 agreements, that loving speech, deep listening, no fixing, confidentiality. When we're in person, we use a slight bow, bowing in, to signify that we're going to speak, but also that we're going to listen. And when we're done speaking, we bow out, and that also says we're done speaking and listening for that reflection. We can try it online, see how it goes. And we invite any reflections on that movement, challenges, insights, victories, defeats.
Doing this online is a new experience. I mean, every time I do movement, it's in a group, and I don't know. It's like being in person is good, but I think being online has its own little like, what is it? Not glimmer, but its own shine to it. But I like these movements. Everyone invited, they're pretty good. Over break, it's a time to get more active, and I feel like doing this movement is a good way to start it off, especially for all the students out here. All right, that's me.
I am always astonished at what just a tiny bit of mindful movement can do in terms of clearing the mind and making you feel just more connected. When I was young, I needed a lot of vigorous exercise, and that's no longer the case. Just a little bit of something very gentle will do it. But I noticed that the key is connecting the mind to the body, probably in either case, whether you're moving fast or moving slow. And I don't know how you teach that to people. You can teach movements, but how do you teach and foster that mind-body connection? I don't know if I'm being clear or not. Thank you.
I was feeling very sleepy. I was yawning very often at the beginning of this call because I've just been sitting at work for the past 4 hours, but I feel more energized now. I'm still a little tired, but I'm like yawning a lot less frequently, which is nice. So I feel like the movement really helped wake me up a little bit.
I always wondered why I never did too much stillness or, you know, exercise in the space I'm in right now. This is my garage, but it's honestly a really good space to block out my family, which is important sometimes. And even though I can still hear them faintly, like I can hear my brother's clarinet, it kind of adds to the bustle of my life here, because family can be a little stressful, but this is like a really good space to partake in mindfulness.
Well, thank you for those reflections. For the sake of time, let's hold reflections there. And if you have some reflection that you'd like to share, please feel free to put it in the chat so we can see it there. But to continue with our demo of a Mindfulness Club meeting, we can move into stillness. That's the next activity, and stillness is one word for mindfulness meditation, contemplation. And Julia, we heard your question about teaching mind-body connection. We'll come back to that. So stillness, as we say in mindfulness clubs, is the concentration of attention. It's a chance for us to train our attention on one point for an extended period of time. In this demonstration, it'll just be 3 to 5 minutes, but in the club meeting, it's 10, 12, 15. We've gone as long as 18, 20 minutes in some club meetings with stillness, but today it'll just be a little shorter. So we call, stillness the concentration of attention. That's adjacent to mindfulness, which we say is the supervision of attention. So finding a posture that's comfortable yet alert, I invite us to bring some attention to our bodies. Knowing that the bell's not going to work well here, we'll leave that aside. Waking up to our attention and supervising our attention to concentrate our attention. I invite us to lower the gaze or close the eyes if that's comfortable, keeping them open if we prefer. And being open to some cues for guidance, or choosing our own cues silently if we like. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. In, out. 2 key words, linking mind and body here and now. Using those keywords or other keywords that we prefer. In, out. And as the attention wanders away from the breath, we can notice the wandering and just call it back. In, out. Breathing in, I notice the in-breath gets deeper. Breathing out, I see the out-breath becomes longer. Deep, long. 2 new keywords for in-breath and out-breath. Deep, long. Breathing in, I keep the body calm. Breathing out, I feel at ease. Calm, ease. And if the mind wanders, I call it back on the in-breath, calm. On the out-breath, ease. Breathing in, I'm aware of thoughts coming and going. Breathing out, I let thoughts come and go. Thoughts come and go. And if the mind gets caught in thoughts, I notice and call it back. Thoughts coming and going. And finally, breathing in, I enjoy breathing in. Breathing out, I appreciate breathing out. Enjoy, appreciate. Letting go of this stillness exercise, I can enjoy a few more breaths with awareness of breathing until I hear a sound to end the exercise. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. Bringing attention back to the feet, the hands, the body. Lifting the gaze or opening the eyes when ready, if they were closed. Getting ready to share here some reflections on that stillness, maybe from friends who were not able to reflect yet. Bowing in and bowing out to share reflection.
Let me bow in first. Thank you, Mr. Pablo, for leading this stillness. Um, I like the addition of choosing whatever cues, or silently choosing whatever cues that you want. And I feel like that's really good because it gets everyone to personalize their own stillness in a way. Because I mean, it feels like that's a lot of like mindfulness it's about like yourself, but being in touch with not only yourself but the stuff around you, but being able to, I don't know, I I'm going in too many directions, but I appreciate the being able to choose your own, and I like how you have the cues anyways. So if people aren't thinking of it, then they can at least have something to hang on to. Yeah. So, thank you.
I bowed. I don't know if anyone saw, but I'm definitely tired again from the stillness. I feel like the movement helped wake me up and then the stillness brought me back down a little bit, but it was calming, definitely calming. I feel like, oh, it also got very loud in here. Like there was so much talking outside during the stillness exercise, and that was distracting, but it was a good challenge for me to like really try to focus on my breath and stay present in the exercise and not let the talking out there keep me off track.
I feel like my stillness today is about moving around and keeping the stillness within. Just a little context, I have 4 kids. This is Kids Week, right? And I have 4 kids under 9 that you might be hearing in the back. So I couldn't enjoy the moment and the guidance of Pablo, but I keep the voice in my mind to keep it still within throughout the day.
All right, thanks for those reflections. For the sake of time, we're going to move on to our final segment of Mindfulness Club meeting. That's called Heart Talk. And Heart Talk is a chance to share anything that might be on our heart or mind that would be helpful to share, to release, to highlight, to confess, to tell part of our story. And it's a chance for us in the club circle to be heard, to be seen, to be understood without judgment in our own space and time. Typically, we're doing this in person. We use a talking piece, usually a stick. We're not in person, so we're going to try this virtually. And I will invite just our students to demonstrate a little heart talk, but I'll start with a comment of my own, as the heart talker typically does. And we keep in mind those 4 agreements: loving speech, deep listening, no fixing, confidentiality. And our heart talk is always optional. So when we are in a circle and we pass the baton, the talking piece, if somebody doesn't want to speak, they can just pass that piece along. So to get started with heart talk, and then I'll just call on a few students to share a little bit as well. For me, this is a joyous occasion, a joyous moment. This is the last activity of the calendar year for Soil and Soul. We've just finished a pretty active 2-week span, at least, with funding proposals and solstice observances and our regular weekly activities. We typically have mindfulness clubs 3 days a week. We have family mindfulness circles 3 days a week. We have sometimes mindfulness in nature on Saturdays. So this is a great way for Soil and Soul to end up this calendar year and really begin the new solar year, which began a couple of days ago. And this feels like a good way to be in time and space. So I'm grateful for this moment, for our students and for Zen Peacemakers. I'm going to invite Maya to keep going with the heart talk, please.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I guess for today's heart talk, this Zoom is also a really joyous moment for me. Like, I've been involved with Soil and Soul since I was a junior in high school, and now I'm a sophomore in college. So it's been a while, but it's always fun to just come back and just be Mr. Problem and be with the new students and just, I always say, like, get back into the headspace of mindfulness. I always appreciate whenever we get to do events like this, or just even when we get to do basically like a club meeting and do the stillness and the movement and the heart talk, because I always forget how much joy I get out of it, or just how peaceful it is for me. So thank you guys for this opportunity, for letting me be in the Zoom and get to meet all you guys. So yeah, that's my reflection.
Thanks. Stepsy, would you like to share in heart talk?
I would like
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to reflect, or not reflect, but I'm really excited for Christmas. It's my last one as a child, I guess. And it's a really special time of the year. I always get pretty caught up in making presents and probably stressing myself out way too much over it. I make art, and it takes a while. It takes a lot out of me, but I'm really excited to see people's reactions, which is the most exciting part for me. Yeah, I'm super excited for Christmas, and I hope everyone has a lovely time this year.
Thank you, Bianca. Any other students want to do some heart talk before we invite the group, Zen Peacemakers or Soil and Soul staff, board members? Any heart talk, any comment you'd like to share just about the moment, the experience so far today?
Hello, everyone. This is my talking stick. I used to work as a potter, and I would make very spontaneous, very quick creatures. And I would usually make a sound as I was doing it. So this is my talking stick. And I just want to say to each of you, in the last year, I've explored different multi-generational storytelling circles and meditation, and I woke up this morning a little bit foggy with some sadness, and I am so touched and uplifted by people of all ages, but especially younger people exploring all this. It really touches me and encourages me. I really appreciate this. So thank you.
Thank you, David. I think we have time for one more heart talk comment. Anything that's on your heart or mind that would be helpful to share with the group.
Very briefly, my heart is like an orchestra singing for all of you, because at the young age of 86, to see so many young people connecting with their inner journey is such a wonderful thing. I know that I started early. When I was like 8 years old, I began to realize my own reality and my reality of not being this body, but being more than that. And so I congratulate you. I congratulate Pablo and Ornella for the great work that they do. And it's this process, as Julia said, of knowing that you connect not this mind, but the big mind of all of us. We're the we mind with our bodies. And that is such a joyous experience, as opposed to a talk or reading. is what we experience. And I experience that every day in the form of incredible gratitude for all of you, a lot of love sent to all of you, and may you have a wonderful, joyous, youthful Christmas for all of you who participate. Thank you.
All right, friends, thanks for those Heart Talk comments. So that concludes the simulation demonstration of our Mindfulness Club meeting. Typically, we'll follow up with announcements at the end, but we're going to skip those for today. I'd like to hear from some of the students about their journeys, how they found mindfulness clubs, how mindfulness clubs has affected them in school, beyond school, in daily life. If they're able to share with us, we'd like to hear from the students, and we can tell you a little bit more about how this got started as well. Anybody want to go first? Young people? Kiara, take it away.
So I got started with mindfulness clubs, I'd say 6 years ago. Yeah, 2018. And it was during a time in my life when I received a diagnosis for major depressive disorder. So I was like looking for a way to like better navigate and process my emotions. And I feel like Mindfulness Club really helped me to do that. Like there have been times where I'd come to club in high school, and even nowadays I'm still involved with the clubs, but I'd come to the club in a really bad headspace, and afterwards I would leave feeling as if like all the weight was lifted off my shoulders. And I think the most beneficial part of being involved with the mindfulness club is the community aspect of it. I think that's what helps me the most. Everyone who attends seems to be really committed to their personal growth and helps hold me accountable to practice regularly by attending the weekly meetings and stuff. So, yeah, it's been a truly beneficial experience for me. I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thanks, Kiara. She started out with our first official year. We had one unofficial year, 2017, 2018 at Atlantic Community High School, where Kiara graduated, and Maya also graduated from there. Ryan is still there. Yeah. Other students, your journey?
Oh, oh, sorry, Bianca, you can go next. But yeah, I want to share. So like I said earlier, I got involved with Mindfulness Club in 2020. I want to say 2021. Yeah, so that was my junior year, and that was coming right after kind of like COVID. So that's when it was my first year back from doing like school online. So I don't know when you guys were, but that was like a really hard time for me in school. During that year, I got diagnosed with some different medical things, and I had a lot of things going on with my family. So I was just in a really dark place, had a lot of anxiety. But I found out about Mindfulness Club. There was like a virtual one over the spring break, and I was like, oh, let's check this out. And I really enjoyed it. And then I just kind of followed up with Mr. Pablo, and he reached out to me, like I said, my junior year, and he's like, hey, do you want to start this club up again? I'm like, okay, sure, why not? I didn't really have anything on my resume, so I thought it'd be a cool thing to do. But if you would have like asked me back then if like how much mindfulness has helped me throughout the years, I definitely wouldn't have been able to give you the right answer because literally since then, I think mindfulness is something that you really have to experience in order to understand how important it is. Especially, I think as a teen, as like a young adult, one of the things I enjoyed the most about doing Mindfulness Club is that it was a great way to just get people that I cared about involved. I know for at least when I was the intern, we had like the biggest club that Atlantic scene. So we had like a really good group. I would say like overall, I think we had like 25 people. And then like consistently, we had a good like 10, 12 people that showed up to meetings, which is also really cool. And I think, I know I'm kind of going on a tangent, but just like the impact that I've been able to see on people, especially like people that I've been able to grow close to. One of the things that I also love about Mindfulness Club is that it helped me just like build these strong relationships with people. Because yeah, it's one thing to be friends with someone and just talk to them, here and there. But I think with mindfulness, being able to do the movement and the stillness, and especially the heart talk together, and be able to have those conversations using the four agreements, I think is such a beautiful thing. And just, I don't know, I think it's just like a lot of the people that were in the club I'm so really close with now. And I just, even now they'll say things like, oh, like deep listening, and they'll use I statements all the time. And like, oh, like you guys still remember that. And I think I always tell people like, hey, like even if you come once, I think even just being in the mindfulness space at least once in your life will have such a great impact on you. So it's always great to see people come back. So again, I just want to thank everyone for being here today, because it's really great just to be with all you guys, new faces and familiar faces, and just be mindful together. So yeah, thank you guys.
Bianca, were you going to say something?
So, admittedly, my mom did kind of force me to start off. But I mean, there were many reasons why I couldn't sit still. I couldn't read, really. I just couldn't focus on anything. I was kind of stuck in a headspace where everything was, you know, I used a lot of escapism in everyday life, kind of removing myself from school. And I also had my first breakup, and first loves are always awful. But I really needed a space where people could come together, especially when I first started, it was mindfulness in nature. And that club in particular kickstarted a passion for planting and gardening. And eventually when I got my first official job, this group really helped me form social dynamics with people that I didn't really know. And my first job was also in gardening. And even now, I'm really striving to work with plants in agriculture. But one of the most important parts of this group for me was the faith that it really put in my mind, especially from Pablo. I really feel like he believed in me and a lot of other people at a time where we were struggling with similar things. And when he asked me to become a part of the management at Soil and Soul, it kind of shocked me. I didn't expect it. I would fall asleep during meditations, but that goes to show how meditation and mindfulness comes in different forms. It's not easy for everybody, and it takes time to plant that seed, but eventually you see some growth, and it's worth something. And I've met some of the nicest, most sweet people thanks to this group, like Ryan, Stepsy. Shout out to Stepsy. Hello. I miss you guys. Yeah, this has been an amazing experience, and it's been a journey since 2021. And I hope to start a mindfulness club wherever I end up. Thank you.
Great. Step C or Ryan, did you want to share your journey?
Okay, for me personally, Mindfulness Club really helps me manage my anxiety. Like the week that I learned it, which was in August, the whole week of the first week of school, I was using Take 8 to breathe. I was just so anxious because I had a lot of presentations as well. It just really helped me calm down and just relax. For me personally, when I'm in circle, I feel calm, I feel relaxed, and I feel safe, most importantly, especially because of our four agreements: no fixing and no judging. I can say what I want to say, obviously abiding by the rules or the agreements. I just know that I have a community with me, especially even at the training, when we took our training, and at school. I feel like everyone is just so into it, and I really love that. Thank you.
That's so great, Stepsy. Thank you. Ryan, quick reflection for you, last ones.
Let's see. I encountered mindfulness first last year, or I had a friend who was a manager of mindfulness, and he invited me to come. And at first, I was a bit iffy because I had so many clubs. I was like, I don't know if I can handle another one. But he finally got me to go to a meeting, and then my love for mindfulness started there, I guess. I I don't know. Mindfulness is just it feels nice to be in a community with other people and to do things together. I feel, and mindfulness is unique out of all the other clubs I'm in at school, at least, because it's not really an expectation of anything. Like I'm not having to work on so much on stuff like outside of school or towards a bigger cause, but more just working on oneself and just being at ease. So I really appreciated that part of mindfulness, and it keeps me coming back every week. My week doesn't feel complete without it. No.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you so much, dear students, for those reflections. I wanted to invite Ornella to share a little bit of her journey. I wanted to share mine, but with 4 minutes left, let's invite some Q&A. If there are questions from the group, I know Julia had one question that we can maybe address right away. How do we teach the mind-body connection, Julia? It's what these students said. It's providing a place and a time week after week, and to make it a habit to develop the skill that we can then, as Stepsy said, when there's anxiety present, she knows what to do. She knows what to do now. She's got a little exercise that she can do, one of several. In our experience, really the routine of the weekly meeting, plus some other activities, is what helps us teach students how to develop the skill for that mind-body connection wherever they are, in a club or out of club. Other questions? David, Scott, David, yes.
Yes, I'm curious to hear from the students about their experience with mindfulness, especially. I know that a lot of students struggle with addiction to digital devices and social media, and I'm just wondering how mindfulness fits into that equation for you all.
So, oh, I'm sorry.
No,
At,
Miyagi, you can go. You're good.
at some point, we had a meeting where we discussed the importance of digital devices, especially for teenagers. We've grown up glued to it, basically. And specifically, Pablo explained doom scrolling to us. And I didn't really know what that was, but it brought attention to something that I wasn't really aware of. I know the fatigue of scrolling for a long time, and it's like a car crash. You can't look away. It's hard to just close it. It's really weird to think how hard it is to just close an app and do something productive. But mindfulness specifically for us, calling attention to things that you don't really pay attention to, like doom scrolling, and making yourself aware of that is one of the first steps, but also grounding yourself in your surroundings instead of on a screen. And you can either go outside, you can do it anywhere. It's really versatile.
Yeah, thank you, Bianca. What she said was amazing. I think that was really good. But I also wanted to comment on, like, I think with the use of like technology and like social media and everything, one thing that I really enjoyed from when we started doing the mindfulness club is that one of the main things that we always recommend that people put their phones away in the basket. And I remember when people first started coming to the club, they're like, "Oh, that's kind of weird." Like a lot of people wouldn't really get into it. They're like, "Oh, what if something happens?" They would keep their phone on them. But I've noticed that as people would start to come more and more, they would always, oh, first thing they do, put their phone in the basket because it's so like you build that habit up. But also for me, I've noticed that it sounds silly, but like obviously we don't need our phones all the time. Like of course they're essential for just communication, but I think since like being part of the clubs, I've noticed that I try not to have my phone on me if I don't need to. Like if I'm having a meal with someone, I always would just keep my phone in my bag because I'm like I'm with someone, I'm not gonna need it. Or even like in conversations, I've noticed like especially like with the mindfulness club peers that I was with, we'd always like put our phones away or just turn it off. And even something so simple as that can I think just have a big impact on like Bianca was saying, it's so easy to just doom scroll or you have like so many notifications throughout the day that can easily distract your mind and just kind of pull it away from what you should focus on. So I guess what I'm trying to say, I think mindfulness definitely has helped me at least understand just how, I guess you said addictive that the phone can be and just how to, I guess, like reduce the effects of that.
Yeah, those are wonderful responses. I see one more hand up. I also see the clock. It's 1 o'clock. I'm happy to stay a few more minutes if you're able to. We invite that. If you're not, we understand. But I see Rosa Maria with your hand up if you'd like to.
Yeah, gracias. Hola. I'm curious if you have experienced like any of the participants to you to break any of the four agreements outside of the group, and if you have, how have you handled that? And I'm just want to also express like how impressed I am and happy to see the leadership of the managers, of the youth managers here. So thank you.
Well, any students want to respond to that question? Breaking the agreements? I don't see any yeses. It doesn't happen too frequently. I don't know, Bianca was going to say something. It does. I know there have been a few occasions. We tend to address it, one-on-one with the student, if that's possible. If necessary, we can involve school officials. Each club has to have a teacher sponsor when it's at a school, so that person can be involved, or another school staff person. Were you going to say something, Bianca?
Well, I think regarding the four agreements, the one that gets broken the most is probably no fixing. As humans, we like to give advice. Like no one's intentions are bad in any way, but even though there's no malice in any of our groups, no fixing is something that people should definitely respect when we're talking about very personal things. Unless you do invite reflections and you ask for advice, it's sometimes it's good to just have someone hear you out and not really receive much. It's good to just have support.
Yeah, that's so true, what Bianca says. And one of our other board members, who's a clinical psychologist, really points out how difficult it can be for many of us, including the people on this call, the adults, to not try to fix youth. We think we know the answers because we're older and we have more experience. And we may, in fact, know the answers, but they may not be ready for them in that moment. And to impose them is not fruitful either. So that one does, yeah, get broken quite a bit. And we try to call people's attention to it. We've thought about developing some signs, like just holding up the sign when somebody's starting to go off track, no fixing, or, loving speech with the I statements. That one gets broken a lot too. There's a habit for folks to speak in you, like second person, when you wake up late and you're stressed and this and that, instead of saying, when I wake up late and taking accountability, that one tends to get broken a lot too. So yeah, some signs might help. Well, dear Jeff, we're a couple minutes over time. Do we want to end here and we invite you to stay in touch with us. You can write us at info@soilandsoul.org if you'd like to learn more. We're planning to get an online community going for mindfulness clubs. We'd love to invite Zen Peacemakers to participate in that with us.
And Pablo, you have a website as well, do you not?
That's right, soilandsoul.org. We can put it in the chat.
Good, good. Well, Pablo, thank you for organizing this, and to all the students, the young people. This has just been delightful and really inspiring to hear from all of you. So thank you so much for sharing with the community. And I'm not sure everyone knows, we do record these. So even though we're a small group here today, hundreds of people will see this over time. It'll go on our website. So thank you for sharing, your experience and your perspective. And have a good day. Have happy holidays. Enjoy the winter and the coming summer. That's the best part. So
Thank you.
Gracias.
thank
Adiós.
you.
Thank you all. Have a
Thank
nice
you,
day.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hasta luego.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Ciao, ciao.